Shalom, brothers and sisters. I'm recording this video specifically for the people who they don't accept the premise of the book that I wrote, and they think that the Bible is still infallible, and you still choose to follow Paul, but you just interpret that Paul means that Paul is actually Torah observant and Paul is pro-Torah. Now, in my book, I talk about how Paul speaks out of both sides of his mouth. Go ahead and get yourself a copy of this, download it for free. You don't have to pay anything for it. I'm not trying to sell you anything. This is available for free. I'm recording this video specifically for you. You know, I try sometimes to extend the olive branch. No matter how many times I extend the olive branch, I just don't seem to learn. I don't get surprised at all when I get spiritual attacks, when there's some sort of satanic, demonic attack against me. I don't get surprised at all when I have to deal with temptation. I don't get surprised when the heathen come at me and make fun of me for trying to walk the straight and the narrow. What I really genuinely do get emotional and upset about, and I'm going to try to not get emotional as I record this video. I've tried to record this multiple times. I get upset about the friendly fire. I obey Torah because I reject Paul. You obey Torah and you don't reject Paul. Can we just focus on that we obey Torah? It's written within the Torah, Leviticus 19:18, do not bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. That love your neighbor as yourself comes from the Torah, and of course in the teachings of the Messiah. And so, this might sound a little sarcastic. There is going to be some sarcasm mixed in here. You know, I don't care if you consider yourself Jewish or Christian or Catholic. I don't care if Tinkerbell appeared to you in a dream and Tinkerbell told you you must obey Torah and you're a Tinkerbellite and you follow Tinkerbellism, which compels you to obey Torah. I don't care. If Paul makes you obey Torah, I don't care. If the lack of Paul makes you obey Torah, I don't care. Just obey Torah. I'm not trying to put a label on you. Paul's the one trying to put a label on you. Follow me. I'm not asking anyone to follow me, Daniel. I'm not following in Paul's footsteps. That's a Pauline tactic to do. I would never ask anyone to follow me because I'm a flawed human being. And I could go off the rails tomorrow. I could make bad decisions and choose to sin tomorrow. Who knows? I would never ask anyone to follow me. Just follow the Messiah and obey the Torah. So whether you accept my premise that Paul leads people into lawlessness, or whether you think I just don't interpret Paul correctly, well, Paul speaks out of both sides of his mouth. Don't forget that. But even if you choose to say, oh, I'm never going to trust Daniel, I'm going to obey Torah and Paul, well, whatever gets you obeying Torah, I really don't care. I want to suggest to you, however, and this is where I am going to get kind of serious about this. First of all, Mark 9:40, he who is not against us is for us. Y'all are reacting like this just because I put a different label on myself. Matthew chapter 7, read verses 15 through 20. By their fruits you shall know them. And this is the real beef that I have with those of you who say that Paul preaches righteousness. This is the beef right here. By their fruits you shall know them. I refuse to believe that you are intellectually an honest person when 90+% of Christian and Catholics, they interpret Paul to mean they don't have to obey Torah. They can eat whatever they want. They don't have to do Sabbath. They can pretty much do anything and everything they want, and they have no consequences because all they got to do is just believe. and that's pretty much what you get from most Christian or Catholic churches. Maybe you go to a denomination that preaches Paul and the Torah. That's super wonderful. I'm so happy for you. That's a minority heretical opinion. That is not how most people interpret Paul. Yes, it is an issue with Paul if 90+% of people who read Paul interpret him to mean that they don't have to obey the law. If you're part of the minority, which I don't think is even 10%, it's probably less than 5% of people who accept Paul as a legitimate, inspired source and therefore come to the conclusion to obey Torah, if you want to pretend like you're smarter than me because you figured it out and that's why you obey Torah, obey Torah. I don't care if you like me or not. Whatever, just obey Torah. If you're obeying Torah, you are on the path to eternal life. I obey Torah and I reject Paul. Maybe you obey Torah and you believe in Paul. I really don't care. Just obey Torah. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. I'm not telling anyone to follow me, Daniel. I'm a flawed human being. I'm a hormonal young man. I could make mistakes. I'm putting myself out there on the front lines spiritually. I made a YouTube channel with my name on it. I wrote this book. I published it in my own name. I put my face on this channel. I risk being wrong. And I put my own reputation on it. I am on the front lines of this spiritual war, and I have been warning people about the necessity of keeping the Torah on YouTube at least for 5 years now, and long before that, offline. And so if y'all want to be keyboard warriors, well, guess what? YouTube is free. Anyone with a smartphone, anyone with a webcam can make a YouTube channel. Put your face out there. Put your name out there. Risk getting doxxed like I have. Risk getting sniped at on the front lines. You know, I can deal with the spiritual, satanic, demonic attacks because I expect those and I stay prayed up. What frustrates me is this. The friendly fire. You know, you keep Torah, but you just put a different name on you keeping Torah than I put a name on it. And therefore I'm your enemy? I would like to conclude again, do not forget, love your neighbor as yourself. Don't bear grudges. These are commands found within the Torah that you allegedly are following. So if you think that I'm wrong about Paul and you obey Torah, I don't care. Just obey Torah. Shalom.